Ananta Gota Vaishnavana ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Praise God, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Bhagavatam, Shri Vaidgadana Swasti Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Shri Radhakrishna, Shri Kundrapam Kiri Godam ki jai, Shri Vrindavanam ki jai, Shri Madhvanam ki jai, Gamnamai ki jai, Gunamai ki jai, Tulsi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Transcendental Buddhist Distribution ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Gopramanandi, all glories from the devotees, all glories from the devotees, all glories from the devotees, all glories, Shri Guru and Shri Guru. Hare Krishna. Svavikam. Welcome. So we're going to read from the Srimad Bhagavatam about the importance of book distribution, and we'll have some discussion also about book distribution. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 So we're reading from the 10th canto, chapter 2, text number 19. So Prabhupada, as you know, he translated up to, I think, chapter 14. Yeah? So this is, Prabhupada is in Vrindavan, practically on his deathbed. And he's translating and giving this amazing purport. Listen attentively. It's quite interesting. Translation. Devaki then kept within herself the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the foundation of the entire cosmos. But because she was under arrest in the house of Kamsa, she was like the flames of a fire covered by the walls of a pot, or like a person who has knowledge but cannot distribute it to the world for the benefit of human society. Purport. In this verse, the word Kana Kala is most significant. Knowledge is meant for distribution. Although there is already much scientific knowledge, whenever scientists or philosophers awaken to a particular type of knowledge, they try to distribute it throughout the world, for otherwise the knowledge gradually dries up and no one benefits from it. India has the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, but unfortunately, for some reason or other, this sublime knowledge of the science of God was not distributed throughout the world, although it is meant for all of human society. Therefore, Krishna himself appears as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and ordered all Indians to take up the cause of distributing the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita throughout the entire world. So we have Indians here that are actually following the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, Jai Dekat Tare Kaha Krishna Vadesh Namara Agyaya Guru Hanatare Desh. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Sri Krishna as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. Although India has the sublime knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Indians have not done their proper duty of distributing it. Now, therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement has been set up to distribute this knowledge as it is, without distortion. Although previously there were attempts to distribute the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, these attempts involved distortion and compromise with mundane knowledge. But now, the Krishna consciousness movement, without mundane compromises, is distributing Bhagavad Gita as it is. And people are deriving the benefits of awakening to Krishna consciousness and becoming devotees of Lord Krishna. You can put it up here. Therefore, the proper distribution of knowledge has begun, by which not only will the whole world benefit, but India's glory will be magnified in human society. Kamsa tried to arrest Krishna consciousness within his house, Bojendra Gehe, with the result that Kamsa, with all his opulences, was later vanquished. Similarly, the real knowledge of Bhagavad Gita was being choked by unscrupulous Indian leaders, with the result that India's culture and knowledge of the Supreme were being lost. Now, however, because Krishna consciousness is spreading, the proper use of Bhagavad Gita is being attempted. Very nice. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnanakamandasya Jnananjana Salakya Chaksham Malitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Krodavachalam Pongam Longayate Gurin Yakripam Taram Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarnam Vanchakapachiyabhyascha Kripasindhukyevascha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Srivastava Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing here the importance of Bhagavad Gita as it is being distributed. There's so many Bhagavad Gitas, I think that there's about 500 different translations of the Bhagavad Gita. But none of these translators actually caught the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. And the essence of the Bhagavad Gita is that people engage in devotional service. Give up service to Maya and engage in devotional service. So therefore Prabhupada called it Bhagavad Gita as it is. All the other Bhagavad Gitas, they can be called Bhagavad Gita as it isn't. Because it's not the real essence. One has to be a pure devotee in order to translate the Bhagavad Gita. Because only a pure devotee of God, of Krishna, can present the proper message. So what we're doing in this marathon is we're trying to distribute this knowledge to those who aren't very interested in serving God. Actually, people come here to forget God. That's why they're here. So we're trying to convince them to take a book about God. So, not easy. It's an austerity. But Lord Brahma, when he appeared from the lotus, coming from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he heard 2 syllables. Anybody know? Tapa, austerity. So he engaged in long austerity. And actually this is the activity, this is meant to be the activity of the soul that is bewildered by the modes of material nature, to engage in austerity so that we can become purified. It's very good. Srila Prabhupada, he told the Gurukul teachers to teach the children the joy of austerity. It's actually joyful. In the beginning it's bitter. Just like that in the mode of goodness, that which is bitter becomes like nectar. In the beginning it's so bitter. Oh, please don't ask me to distribute books. Oh, please don't. So difficult. But if you stick with it, it becomes so sweet. I just got a story. One devotee in Dallas, recently went out on book distribution, but he didn't want to go. It was his day off, and nobody else in the community wanted to go out. And he just thought, oh, why be? But then he defeated his mind, and he went out. And towards the end of the day, he didn't want to stop. He said, I don't want to stop. Because he was getting so many nice exchanges from people taking books. So in the beginning it's like that, it's bitter. and the mind not interested. But if we stick with it, it becomes like nectar. So many devotees now on the planet, they're so attached. So many devotees I've spoken to, they just want to distribute books to their last breath. Like, wow, that's dedication. Very good. So this austerity is good. So we have to somehow get out of this comfort zone. At the temple, a nice comfort zone. When you have your room, when you have your situation, easygoing service, no anxiety, no feathers are being ruffled or anything. When you go on book distribution, your feathers get ruffled. A little austere. Rejection, the main austerity of book distribution. False ego. One devotee asked me yesterday, he said, why is it that I dislike this rejection so much? He said he's a person like that very good with people, very outgoing, good with people, but rejection is just like, it's so hard. I said it's because false ego. The false ego doesn't like it. The false ego likes to be praised, right? Honored, so much respect. But to be neglected, rejected, abused sometimes, false ego doesn't like this. But it's actually, it's very good for the false ego. It's cleansing. Yeah. Because there's a real ego. If you want to go beyond the false ego, then the best way to go beyond the false ego, be cleansed of the false ego, is to engage in this austerity for the pleasure of Krishna. This activity which is most pleasing to Krishna, which he himself says, Yaidam Padamanguyam. I mentioned the day before yesterday, that it's the most pleasing activity. It's Krishna's soft spot. You understand? Soft spot. If you have a very good friend, and you know there's something that really pleases your friend, and you do that thing, then, well, you hit the soft spot. So, Krishna is everyone's best friend. And he says, he's revealing his mind. He's saying what pleases him the most, to give out this knowledge. So it's Krishna's soft spot. You can't lose. Even if you go out and you don't distribute any books, still, you hit Krishna's soft spot. You pleased him. Just by the attempt. Just like when Krishna, before the battle, Kurukshetra, Krishna decided that he wanted to go to the Kurus and try to avoid the war. He was going to go and try to talk some good sense into them and just try to work it out. So the Pandavas get some land, they get some land, work it out. But Yudhishthira, he said, Krishna, don't waste your time. Duryodhana is not going to listen to you. He's adamant, just don't waste your time. And then Krishna replied to Yudhishthira, the wise have said that anyone who goes out of their way to benefit others is not at loss. Even if he doesn't receive the desired result, still he benefits from that attempt. So even if you go out to distribute books, just by the attempt, you're successful. Because it's a transcendental activity. Just by that attempt, you've achieved success. But Prabhupada says there's also, in Kali Yuga, that whatever devotional service you do, even in your mind, you get the result. Kali Yuga handicap. So one devotee said, "Oh, that sounds ecstatic. I'll just think of distributing 1 million books today, I get the credit. And I said, well, that's a nice idea, but the people don't get the books. You know, we want the people to get the books also. You know? So that's, but that's there. If we go out to try to distribute books to the people, Krishna's very pleased. We get the credit for that. So there's no loss. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it stated, Tatena lokatapena sadhavo praiso jana. That it's very common that devotees voluntarily accept suffering to relieve the suffering of the people in general. And this is considered to be the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Interesting statement there. We're all worshipping Krishna, especially the Vijaya's, they're worshipping Krishna from the artis. But in this verse, we're finding that the highest method of worshipping Krishna is to go out and give Krishna to others, to bring the deity out to the people, because the books are also, they're like deities. Prabhupada said it. Some devotees, they wanted to bring deities on Sankirtan, and Prabhupada said, no, you worship the books. The books are deities. It's absolute, non-different. The knowledge that's being given by Krishna, the deity, is non-different. Absolute. So when we go out and give books to people, we're actually offering deity. And Prabhupada said, people have a book in their home, it's like having a deity in their home. Vijaya Prabhu, he used to tell people that don't read. He said, that's okay. Even if you don't read it, you just have it in your home, and it'll create all auspiciousness in your life. Just have it in your home. And one lady said, okay, sounds good. So she bought it, she walked out. She came back 10 minutes later, and Vijaya Prabhu was speaking to somebody, but she waved the book up, she said, it's already working, I got an upgrade to first class. So it creates auspiciousness, of course, higher auspiciousness than that. So yes, this is very pleasing to the Super Soul, to Krishna. This is a very high level of worship, is to bring Krishna out to the people. Because this is why people are suffering, because they don't have Krishna in their life. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he used to say that the only lack in society is Krishna consciousness. So this is why, this is the root reason why people are suffering so much. So this Krishna consciousness is a positive alternative. Here in Australia, they used to have that big bus, and on the side of the bus it said, Krishna consciousness, the positive alternative. This is so true. People are suffering, what is their alternative? What do they do when people are suffering? They drink. They take drugs. They do all kinds of foolish things. Right? Make their life worse. There's one story actually of one man. He was having a business meeting in his business. Flat there. One devotee was on book distribution, door to door, so he knocked on the door and they opened the door. And the chairman, he saw the books. He said, oh, please come in. Please give each of my colleagues here a Bhagavad Gita. About 10 Bhagavad Gita. And the devotee was very happy, imagine. One shot. So he said, I'll pay for it. So the devotee was very surprised. So then the end of the meeting was actually right then also. So the devotee decided to speak to this man about why he was so enthusiastic for his colleagues to get Bhagavad Gita. So the man said, I'll tell you what happened to me. I was going through a very, very, very rough period in my life. My wife was giving me so many problems. My children were giving me problems. It was intolerable. So it was so intolerable that I started drinking. And I was drinking and drinking. Eventually I became an alcoholic. My life just became so miserable. So I decided to just end it. Just to end my life. So I was in my office, getting ready to take some poison. But just before I did that, I looked up and I saw the Bhagavad Gita. And I thought, maybe there's something there. So he said, I pulled it down and I started reading it. He said, from reading the first paragraph, I felt so much relief. Just the first paragraph. I said, oh, that was a relief. Felt soothed. Just from the first paragraph. So he said, I kept reading. And I was just reading Bhagavad Gita and eating a little bit and sleeping a little bit, and that was it. For 5 days. And when I finished reading the Bhagavad Gita, I had never felt so happy in my life. So to this day, I read Bhagavad Gita every day.
Oh.
He said it completely transformed my life. Now all my family problems are over. We have nice relations now because of Bhagavad Gita. That's why I wanted all my family to be a Bhagavad Gita. So this is the power of Bhagavad Gita. Song of God. Very powerful. And it changes so many people's lives. Right here in Brisbane, there was one devotee distributing books, and he sold one to one softback Bhagavad Gita. Gave $20 for it. His name was Mr. Wong. And he took it home and he read it, and he was so inspired by it that he sent a check for $6,000 to the temple out of appreciation for the knowledge that he had received. So the devotee, imagine, was shocked. So one devotee, Dhruva, maybe somebody would know Dhruva, he decided to pay a visit to him out of appreciation, bring him some more books. And he did that. Had a nice talk, but the parents went into it. So the parents also lived there. So he said, better not come to the home. Just email me or call me. But he appreciated that devotee going there to his home, speaking to him so much that he sent another $8,000. So the temple president, Vijaya, at that time, he was amazed. So he sent him an email and said, you're so nice, you've done such nice service. Please come to the temple, we have a gift for you. So he was surprised, right? So he went to the temple. They gave him all of Prabhupada's books, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, everything that they have. He gave him. He was so pleased. Then he gave Vijaya an envelope, and then he left. $8,000 more. And then, just a couple of weeks later, he sent another $6,000. So I think it comes out to be like $26,000. He just got the softback Bhagavad Gita, read it, and now he's initiated devotee. So this is the Shakti, this is the power of Prabhupada's books. But not everybody will change like that, will be inspired like that, but there's souls out there that are searching. Just like all of us. We were searching and fortunately we came in contact with Srila Prabhupada's books, and now it's transforming our lives as well. So if we do this activity, this austerity, then people benefit and we become purified. Lord Rishabdev, he also says, Nayam deho dehabhajam naloke kastam kamam arhate vidbhujam tabodivyam putukayena sattvam sudyatyasvat brahmasokyam pranam. He says that persons who have material bodies, persons who have the human form of life, they shouldn't waste their time in engaging in the activities of the animals, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. But they should engage in austerity. And from austerity, you get brahmasokyam tvanantam. You attain happiness. Interesting. Who would think that you become happy by engaging in austerity? But even materially, you see that sometimes there's disasters, natural disasters like the tsunami, and people went there volunteering to help. And it gave joy to the heart. If we go out of our way to help people, then it brings joy to the heart. Especially when you find someone who got a book and they're reading it, they're interested, take up, and it's like, phew, it's really soothing. You know. I was distributing books in Canada. We went to one festival, devotee festival. And one devotee came up from behind me. He said, Vijaya, I want to thank you very much. And I said, well, you're very welcome now. What are you thanking me for? He said, you distributed a book to a friend of mine back in 1980. And he wasn't interested in it, but he knew I was interested in it. So now I read that book, and now I've been a devotee for 25 years. I was hoping I would see you sometime. So it's very soothing, you know. Very soothing. So many, we don't know what's happening with these books. You know, we don't know whose lives are being changed. But know for certain, Prabhupada said, they just touch a book, they benefit. So even the people that you have touched a book, they benefit. They read one line, it could change their life. So you're changing people's lives by this activity, and you're changing your own life. You're advancing. Imperceptibly, you can't understand how much we're benefiting by going out and giving this knowledge to others. So for the soul to go out, for us to go out on book distribution, it's actually a comfort zone. And people want to avoid book distribution because they want to be in their comfort, but actually it's not a comfort zone. The real comfort zone is to go out and do what we know is most pleasing to Krishna. That's a comfort zone for the soul. And that's what we want. We want the soul to be comfortable. And this is very comfortable. To be doing what is pleasing to Krishna. It may be comforting for the mind to be in some other situation, because the mind doesn't like austerity. The mind just wants to enjoy the senses. The center of the senses is the mind. It doesn't want austerity. But the soul does. The soul relishes the austerity because it knows it's getting purified. It's very good. So this austerity is very, very good. And just like this, I mentioned about these natural disasters. When there's some natural disaster, so many people, they come together to help those people who are suffering. So what is the main disaster in the world? People have forgotten Krishna. That's the main disaster. That's what's bringing on the most suffering, because people have forgotten Krishna. So we should feel like that it's an emergency. People have forgotten Krishna. It's horrible. Worse than a tsunami. Worse than earthquakes and cyclones and all these things. Because everybody is suffering because of this forgetfulness of Krishna. So we should feel that it's an emergency. We have to get this knowledge out for their benefit, so that they could understand who they are. People have no idea even who they are. at their spirit soul. Everybody's in Maya. So when we go out on book distribution, we're giving them an opportunity to come out of the illusory energy and enter into the transcendental, highest energy, Krishna consciousness. This will benefit the people more than anything else. Srila Prabhupada, he once wrote a letter to Vijaya. He said our only motto in Krishna consciousness should be to read and distribute books. I think so many groups have mottos. So he said this should be our motto in Krishna consciousness. Read and distribute books. If we don't read, then we won't be inspired. And Srila Prabhupada was speaking to some leading book distributors in Germany. And Prabhupada asked them, so are you reading the books also? And the devotees said, well, Prabhupada, we don't have much time. So Prabhupada was very upset. He was actually hurt. He said, then what is the use? Then what is the use? Because if we don't read the books, then we won't have strength to continue on. Maya is so powerful. So powerful. So by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, we stay connected. Because the mind is so weak in Kali Yuga, material energy is so powerful. If we don't read Srila Prabhupada's books, we're going to be pulled away very easily by mind. But when we read Prabhupada's books attentively, then this inspires us. Not only to distribute books, but to continue on in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada gives an example, I think in the Krishna book, of two villages. In these two villages, there's a lot of going back and forth because the family members are living in both villages. But then at one point, all the family members, they moved to one village. And therefore the path is not being used anymore. So it gets covered. So the more we hear and chant about Krishna, the more this path is open. The beaten path. We call it the beaten path. But if we don't hear and chant attentively, regularly, then this path to Krishna becomes covered. It becomes covered by weeds and by grass, and then eventually it becomes completely covered. So we want this path to Krishna to be completely clean. No weeds, no grass, nothing, just completely clean. So this is possible by hearing and chanting, by performing austerity. Another nice example given by Vijaya Maharaj. He said that, let's say you have some place you want to go. You're driving. Let's say you're driving to Sydney. And the road starts off very nice and smooth. But then after a while, the potholes start appearing. It starts getting very uncomfortable. It's not nice. There's plain ground on each side of the road. There's potholes. This is not comfortable. Then as you're driving, then you see there's another road going to the right, where it's nice, smooth pavement. And there's rose bushes and palm trees. And it's a very attractive road, very smooth and attractive. All kinds of colorful bushes coming up on each side. So you said, hey, that's better just go over there. And pull off, you go off that road. It's more comfortable, but there's a problem. It's going the wrong way. Right? So this path of austerity, it may be a little uncomfortable potholes here and there. Book distribution, there's a few potholes. A little austere. But as we continue on, then the road gets smoother and smoother. And the palm trees come up, and nice flower bushes come up. In the beginning it's like that. Potholes, bitter, like poison, but it becomes very sweet. It becomes very nice. But to get a taste to the Sri books, it's something that you have to work on. You have to give your energy to it. And then Krishna reciprocates. There was a devotee in America back in the early 90s. There was about 25 of us brahmacharis who were traveling all over America. We were going to concerts. It's very ecstatic. We had four big Sankirtan bands, 4 or 5. Very ecstatic. There was one devotee on this party that did the least amount of books of everyone else. He would only do 25 or 30, and everybody else was doing 180 and 120. But this devotee, he had very good japa. He would chant very good japa. Very clear, attentive. So he was determined just to continue distributing books. And gradually he was doing a little bit better, because of his determination. And eventually he broke the record for big books distributed in one day. Indranuj Das. He distributed, I think, 340 big books in one day. But he stuck with it. And Melbourne is a very nice city, actually. There's a lot of nice people here. There's many places where you can distribute, isn't it? Not just the city or so many suburbs where you can distribute books. People are nice, intelligent, they're not poor. And many places around the world, there's disadvantages there, People are not very wealthy. There's not many places to distribute. We have that problem in America. But there's so many nice places here to distribute. People are intelligent, they have money. So you have so many nice advantages here. And this is a marathon when you could really concentrate on it. But I humbly beg you, don't stop after the marathon. Continue on. At least Prabhupada, actually, when Prabhupada was here, all the devotees would go out once a week on book distribution. Everybody would go out. The BBT would go out, the pujaris would go out, the cooks would go out, everybody would go out. Maybe one person would stay back for one and take care of the evening. Because everybody knew of the importance of book distribution. Everybody was a book distributor. And Prabhupada said that he wanted everybody to learn the art of book distribution. It's an art, just like anything. You practice anything, you get better at it. If you don't practice it, then how are you going to get better at it? You have to practice. And the main point about book distribution is that you have to pray. You have to pray. Of course, that's the whole meaning of the Hare Krishna mantra. That we're praying to engage in devotional service. So how do you pray? Sometimes devotees say, well, how do we pray? We pray to be an instrument in the hands of Krishna. Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachi. Krishna told Arjuna, you just be an instrument in my hands. We should never think that we can do it on our own. No. And pray for purification. And pray to see that everybody is actually a soul. Everybody is your part and parcel. Your eternal servant. Yeah. And we come up and just be a little introspective, and you could come up with different prayers. Srila Prabhupada has a wonderful prayer that he wrote Boston Pier. Wonderful prayer. Expressing his humility. I can't do anything. So by your mercy only will they accept the message of Krishna. Will they accept your message? Have great faith in the holy name. Well, such a beautiful. There's so many devotees around the world. They read this prayer before they go out on book distribution. It really sets our consciousness in the proper way for approaching people and trying to give them Krishna consciousness. Because book distribution is all about our consciousness. Preaching is all about our consciousness. Where we're at. People sense it. They sense, there's that sixth sense, they can sense where we're at. Whether we're actually trying to help them or there's some selfish motive there. But so many things, so many wonderful things happen when we distribute books. This is one of the main reasons that I continue distributing books, is because you just so many wonderful things happen. There's so many ways that Krishna reciprocates with us on book distribution. I was distributing books in Brisbane many years ago, maybe 10 years ago. And I was showing a person the Bhagavad Gita. And before I was showing this book to this person, I was praying, Krishna, please, there's so many people here that are gone wrong direction, away from you. Please help me. Give this mercy to these conditioned souls so they can understand what is reality, to understand you and who they are. So I was showing this to this man. He was showing interest. But while I was showing this, another man came up and he said, excuse me, do you know where I can get one of those Bhagavad Gitas? I said, yeah, sure, just a moment. I'm just speaking to this man and I'll help you. So this man I was speaking to, he was amazed. This man came up and asked for the Bhagavad Gita. So it kind of inspired him to take the Bhagavad Gita. So he gave an explanation, took the Bhagavad Gita. And then I went over and spoke to this man. He said, yeah, I know where you can get one. You can get one right here. So he was very happy. He gave an explanation, took the Bhagavad Gita. And the next day, just the next day, I had the Bhagavad Gita in my hand and walking around, approaching people. And another person came up, another man came up. He said, excuse me, I noticed the Bhagavad Gita in your hand. Do you know where I can get one? I said, yeah. You can get one from me, right? He said, really? I said, yeah, that's why I'm here, that's what I do. I'm selling these. He said, really? Wow, amazing. I've been looking for a Bhagavad Gita for years. It was amazing. The day after that happened, it's like, unbelievable. I've been distributing books for 33 years. And those are the first times ever that someone came up, excuse me, do you know I can get one of those Bhagavad Gitas? Amazing. So, yeah, book distribution is so ecstatic, and we never know what's going to happen with these books. There was, in Russia, there was two devotees who got books while they were in the military. And they became devotees. They became initiated devotees while they were in the military. And there was one officer, I think he was a colonel, a big rank officer. He found out that these soldiers were devotees. So he told them, I'd like you to come to my office. He told some other sergeant, some high-rank sergeant or something, tell these two boys I'd like to see them. And they were like nervous, because he's a colonel, they're just privates, the guy wants to see us, what do we do? They're in anxiety. So they went into his office. He said, I understand that you are devotees, practicing some yoga. He said, yeah, we're practicing bhakti yoga. And he said, do you have any information about this? I said, yeah, we have Bhagavad Gita. And he said, okay, yeah, I'd like to see. So one of them went over and got a Bhagavad Gita and handed it to him. He said, yeah, we just asked for a donation. And the colonel was shocked. You guys are bold, yeah. What do you like it? They were bold. Also, but we gave it and so then, maybe a couple of weeks later, these devotees saw the colonel. Again, have you read the Bhagavad Gita? Said, no, I have no time. I'm so busy. And they said, oh. So then another week later, they saw him again. Have you started reading? No, I'm so busy. So then after that time, he said, all right, yeah, I'm going to read this book. Yeah. So then he thought, I'll just read the translation, because the whole book, commentary and everything's too much. So then he read the translations. So the next time he saw the devotees, they asked him, so have you read? He said, yeah, I read. Oh, so thank you. You like it? Yeah, it's good. That night, this colonel had a dream. Prabhupada came to him in a dream. And he said, in perfect Russian, I think it'll be okay if you read the purports also. Prabhupada came to him in a dream, said to read in perfect Russian. It's okay to read it and read the purports also. So then he woke up, he immediately started reading the purports. So now he's a devotee. He's up for sannyas now. His name is Achala Das. So this is the power. Sometimes Prabhupada even comes himself, read the book. So he was very happy about it. So many amazing things happen in Russia. There was one, I've been there a few times, so I hear some amazing stories. There was one young boy, 13. Somehow he got some books, and he really liked the books, so he got more and more books. But he didn't know how his parents would feel about the books. He's a young boy. So he was keeping it secret. He didn't let them know that he was reading these books. So then he found out from the devotees in Moscow that there was a big festival going on, a couple 100 miles away. Big festival. So he wanted to go. A 3-day festival. He thought, how am I going to go? My parents will never allow me. So they thought of a plan that he told his parents that him and another friend of his are going to go to visit him, his family, some other place. They said, no, okay, no problem. Well, they thought, what am I going to do with the books? I got to do something so they don't see the books. So he decided to lock them up in a chest and put them in his closet. So he did that. He went off to the festival and had a great time, came back. His parents weren't home. But when he got to the room, he noticed that the chest had been opened. And therefore his parents must have been looking at the books. Now he's afraid. What are they going to do? So the parents came back a couple hours later. And father said, son, I want to speak to you. Yes, father. He said, these books, why didn't you tell us about these books? He said, oh, I'm sorry, father, I just thought you would be upset. No, we're not upset. Those books are great. We love these books. Where did you get these books? So the boy was shocked. He said, I'm getting them from devotees of Krishna. He said, the father said, we're so fortunate. Our boy is a saint. And they all became initiated eventually. They all became devoted. So this is the power of these books. Whole families, so many examples in India of whole families becoming devotees. And of course, in the beginning, the parents are all upset because their boy, in India it's a big thing, the boy, he's the bread maker for the family. So many amazing stories. There was one devotee in India, he told me that his mother came to the temple in Mayapur and she was banging her head on the ground. Give me back my son! There's blood for me. Prabhupada said, he used to have the heart of a Bengali mother and the courage of a British soldier. So Bengali mothers are really attached. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he had a whole system that when parents would come to get their son, he would tell the brahmacharis, put him under the bed. Or if he found out that parents were coming, he would tell some brahmana to take him to another center. So many ways he would avoid the parents coming and taking him. And he said in this recent, he said, some people may think I'm a little callous, I'm a little cruel because the parents are coming and trying to get their children. But actually it would be cruel for me to allow the parents to take the children back because they don't want to go back with their parents. They want to chant Hare Krishna and here, be in the ashram. It would be cruel for me to do that. So he said, actually, if I don't do this, there would be no Gaudiya Math. Because he had to do this so much. And it's not like in America or here. They have deprogrammers here also. Yeah, they have. Yeah, in America they have deprogrammers. They can actually, but not in India. It's going to the temple to be a sadhu. They can't. So many people were coming and joining. He would protect the devotees. And we're also being protected by Srila Prabhupada by reading his books and by getting a taste. If you can get a taste for book distribution, you're very fortunate. Very fortunate. Because this is Srila Prabhupada actually, he was speaking to a large number of book distributors in Atlanta, Georgia. There was about over 100 book distributors. And Prabhupada said to them, that there's one yogi, 60,000 years of meditation wisdom. I forgot his name. Valmiki, anyway, one of those yogis that meditated for 60,000 years. He said the benefits of the austerity that they accrued from that meditation, you also get by just going out for a few days on book distribution. And all the devotees said, Haribol! They're very happy to hear that. Because this is Kali Yuga and it's so difficult just to take up, Krishna says, Manushyanam Sahasreshya, out of many thousands of men, hardly one endeavors for perfection. Out of those who try, hardly one knows me in truth. So it's very difficult for someone to even get on the path of bhakti. So to be on the path of bhakti and to go out and help others also get on the path of bhakti, whoo-hoo! I mean, you have no idea how fortunate you are to be able to do that. So I encourage you to do this as much as you can, beyond the marathon. Because there's people that will take Srila Prabhupada's books so many different ways. I was distributing books also in Brisbane. This is also many years ago. And I was going door to door. And I knocked on one man's door and he came to the door. He saw that I was a devotee. He saw the Bible. He said, no, I'm not interested. I worship Satan. So I said, well, it's good for you to know the enemy. You worship Satan, this is all about God. So you should know about God. He said, all right, that sounds good. He gave $20 and took a Bhagavad Gita. So sometimes we have to be a little thoughtful, You can't always say the same thing. You have to be thinking. Prabhupada said you should tax your brains on how to distribute more books. Tax your brain. So it's so important, this activity. The devotee is not satisfied with his own knowledge of Krishna. He wants to give this out to others also. This is more satisfying. Of course, it's satisfying that we're getting to hear about Krishna. It's very good. But what is even more satisfying is when we're going out and we're giving it to others. I can tell you clear as day that my most wonderful experiences in this life has been on book distribution, on the front line. By far. So many wonderful experiences on book distribution. This is nectar. We've got to get over the poison level. Then it becomes nectar. It's going to keep on. And it becomes very nectarian. So maybe we'll stop there. Is there any question or comment? Yes, Ruben.
Yesterday when I was doing books, I was showing to some girls, and one man came and he got angry. He said that you can't give books to religion to these 12 years old girls because
to Australians or girls, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Australian girls. So
Australian girls?
Yeah.
Okay.
So one man came and he actually stopped me in giving them books. And said that you can't give religious book to them. They are actually only 12 years.
How old were the girls?
12 years.
12?
Yeah.
12 years old?
Could be. Oh no, in their year 12, sorry. In their year 12. I
17.
Huh?
17, 18 years old.
17 or 18 years old. Oh, okay.
So he said you can't do that. And then he took the book from their hand and he gave it to me, and then he was telling that you don't give the books to them now anymore, to these young students. And then he left over. So
Did he leave and he didn't bother you anymore?
Yeah, I was a bit upset with that incident.
But did he leave?
Yeah.
He didn't bother you anymore?
No.
Okay, so what can you do? It's unfortunate for the girls, but sometimes there's demons out there. We have to deal with them. We have to tolerate them. This is a lot of demoniac people. Don't know what they're doing. There was one person in Los Angeles. He used to go and he would throw rocks at the temple, and he would harass the devotees. And at one point, one devotee became fried. So he just went over and he beat him up. And this person that was throwing rocks at the temple and harassing the devotees, he was impressed. He said, "Well, I thought you guys were a bunch of sissies." You understand sissy? You understand? Sissy? Sissy means like a man that's like a girl. So he said, "I thought you guys were like sissies, just like girls." So this devotee came and beat him up. So this person that was beaten up, that was harassing devotees and throwing rocks at the temple, he became a devotee. He became a huge book distributor. So you never know, sometimes these demoniac people, they also become devotees. His name was Ruchi. Ruchita, disciple of Srila Prabhupada. So sometimes also we'll be harassed many times in the airport. Sometimes or Christians would come and they would bother us. And they would say, not only am I not going to let you distribute a book to this person, but I'm going to stay right here and make sure nobody takes a book from you. And what do you say then? What I tell them is can you do me a favor and just wait right here? I'm going to get the police. So please just wait here. And then I walk away, and then I turn around, and then run away. So they get a little heavy, so we also have to become a little heavy. And there's many things you can say to people. It's very common that people, they'll tell you, no, I'm not interested. You ever hear that one? That's a common one. So sometimes when they say that, I tell them, I point to the heart and I say, down deep, you're very interested. Deep down, you're very interested. But up here in the mind, you're not interested. So many times people, they take the book, just on that little statement. So there's different things we can say. Srila Prabhupada, he wanted the books to have pictures in them because everybody is attracted to art. So when I distribute books, I always show the pictures. Let's explain a little bit. And many times people, they take the books because of the artwork. It's very beautiful art. Especially they like the one picture of the five senses and the chariot driver. They really like that. There was one student at university, he bought the book just for that picture. And the next year when we went to the campus, he said that he had cut that picture out and he pasted it on his bed, on the wall next to his bed. So that when I wake up in the morning, I know this is the situation. They like the pictures so much, they're pasting them on the wall. And we've seen this picture of the changing bodies, a million times, it's nothing. But when people see that the first time, like, and you get them involved. You could show them the changing bodies and then ask them, so where are you then? Where are you? No, I'm out there. Or there's the three modes of nature, goodness, passion, ignorance. So I asked him, so which one of these are you more moved by? The goodness, passion, or ignorance? There's probably some goodness there, a little passion. Sometimes it's ignorance. And so you get them involved. It's nice. Then I showed them the wise person, the Brahmin in the forest. He sees with equal vision the Brahmin and the cow. So I showed them that. People like it. But we have to be confident. Also, this is very important. Utsaha nischaya dharya. In our devotional service, we have to be very enthusiastic. It's very important. We have to be enthusiastic to give Krishna to others. And that comes from Srila Prabhupada, our Guru, who's also enthusiastic to spread Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada, he was so enthusiastic to preach that in New York City, this was in 1976, the devotees were trying to convince Prabhupada to go to Gita Nagari to relax. His health wasn't good. Actually, his health never got better from that time that I'm talking about, 76. So they're trying to get him to go to Gita Nagari, get his health together, he can do his writing, relax. It's more peaceful. So they were trying to convince Prabhupada right up to where he's in the elevator, going down, to get us in this car, to go to the airport. They're still trying to convince him. See, the Prabhupada would be much more peaceful for you to keep your health together. Prabhupada stopped. Put his cane down, very grave. He said, I am not interested in this peace. He said it like it was a bad word. I am not interested in this peace. What I'm interested in is engaging in devotional service, like Arjuna, fighting on the battlefield to please Krishna. He was a soldier. He was like, Prabhupada said that a preacher is like that. He's like a kshatriya. He's like a soldier. And therefore he said, there's a letter Prabhupada wrote, that our temples are not places for eating and sleeping, but they are bases from where we send out our soldiers to fight against Maya. And to fight against Maya means to drop hundreds and thousands and millions of books in the laps of the conditioned souls. Just like during wartime, the bombs are dropping from the sky like anything. So, book distributors are like that. We're fighting, we're against Maya, trying to pull people out of Maya. He also said that we're Buddhists like Brahmanas, mainly like Brahmanas, because we're trying to give people knowledge. We're trying to imbibe the knowledge ourselves, and we're trying to give this knowledge out to others, which is the main activity of the Brahmana, the real Brahmana. But he also said we're like Vaishyas, because we're selling. We're selling books, we're not giving them out for free, there's an exchange. So all of these are there. Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishya. But mainly, we have to have this rabbinical consciousness. Titikshaya, Karuniya, Maitra, Chikila Chandrasu, Samatmeya, Tisara, Bhagavan, Samprasiditi. In the Bhagavatam, it said that Krishna is very pleased when his devotee approaches people with these four brahminical qualities. Tolerance, compassion, titikshaya, karunya, maitra, approaching people as a friend, and samadvena, approaching people without discrimination, knowing that everybody is a spirit soul. Of course, sometimes when you're distributing, they'll discriminate. Like there's an older man coming and there's a younger person coming. The younger people are generally more interested than the elderly. But if there's only an elderly man coming, then don't discriminate. Try. They take. Anybody can take a book. Anybody else have a question? Yes.
Then I was thinking that we need to tell them enough so that they know what they're getting, to make sure that they know what they're getting, what book it is, and so that they have more impetus to read it. And sometimes we say very little and they just give a donation and they read it, the book they want to move on and do it again. So
So you're asking why is that?
No, I was thinking that in one sense, because sometimes more books go out, so that's good, but in another sense I thought maybe they might take it lightly because they're not spending so much time.
Oh, they might, if we don't say something about the book, they might take it lightly.
Yeah. Because it goes so fast sometimes.
Well, sometimes, people are in a hurry. Just that, it's on yoga meditation, we just ask for donations. People are in a hurry sometimes, so sometimes you have to be practical. But yeah, it's best to show the book. I show the Sanskrit also. I tell them, we suggest you read the English part, you might be a little rusty on the Sanskrit. But it's good, to show them what they're getting, show the Sanskrit, show the English, show them the pictures. And let them know what they're getting. Book on wisdom, higher consciousness, inner happiness, spiritual. So that's good, to let them know as much as you can. But sometimes, you just have to be short. Time, place, and circumstance. I was in the airport just doing one time, and there was a man that was rushing, he was running through the airport, and I said, "Excuse me," and he literally ran around, he came back. Well, we got these nice books on yoga, meditation, higher consciousness, we do this for donations. He said, "Great," gave $20, started running back. So, circumstances like that, I'm not going to show them the pictures. Yeah, we're going to make a Sanskrit here, and it's on, spirit. Yes.
Sometimes when we are distributing books, we also encounter that people say that I'm Christian, I'm from Catholic background, so how to deal with the situation?
Oh, yeah,
Because
Christians.
I'm arguing with
I sell a lot of books to Christians. Because when we try to distribute a book to them, immediately they become, they become, what's the word, they're not interested, because they have another religion. So, they're like on guard. I have my belief. So I tell them, we're not trying to change your belief. There's always more to learn. Right? So you take them off the defense. They're defensive because they have another religion. You're trying to change. No, we're not trying to change. You have your belief. That's fine. But there's always more to learn about God. Right? And they practically always say, yeah, that's true. And they take a book. Whether it's Muslim or Christian or Buddhist or whatever. If they become defensive, no, I have another belief. Oh, no, that's fantastic, you know. Sometimes they even tell them, oh, that's so great. There's so many atheists now, you know. It's nice to see that somebody believes in God still, you know. So they can feel good, you know. Take the defense and also make them feel good. Yeah, I believe in God. So much atheism now. It's nice to see someone's out here still believing in God, you know. So you take the defense off, make them feel good, and also make the positive point. There's always more to learn, right? And then you could even say, I mean, you read the newspaper, right? I mean, you'll probably get more from this than the newspaper, right? Yeah. So I saw a lot of books to Christians, just on that simple little line. Of course, not all of them take, but they give very nice donations. You can even say that with atheists. We're not trying to change your belief. There's always more to learn, right? Whatever belief they put forward to you, that's great. We're not trying to change your belief. Of course we are. But we say that. And if they continue on being a Christian, that's okay. But still, this adds on. I mean, there's many Christians. When I was just in Los Angeles, there was one. I was honoring prasadam in a restaurant, and I was honoring one devotee there. And one man came in to the restaurant, and the devotee got up and said, "Oh, Father, nice to meet you." He's a Christian father. He's at our restaurant. He chants Hare Krishna, reads Prabhupada's books, and he expresses our philosophy to his congregation. Awesome. So there's many very good Christians out there that are also imbibing Christian consciousness. Yes?
How much we should read like every day, and how to read Prabhupada's book, in which order, if you can tell?
Well, Prabhupada said different things. He said you should read my books 2 hours. He said at one time, he said 1 hour, 1 minute, or 1 minute, and he said 2 hours. When I go out on the book distribution, before I go out, I try to read at least an hour. I always read Bhagavad Gita, because that's very concentrated inspiration. And it's a big book. So even though we've read it so many times, it's Kali Yuga, we have bad memories. That's one of the advantages of Kali Yuga. If you read the whole book, you can read it again. I remember reading that. Yeah. What to speak of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. So we have bad memories. But even the Bhagavad Gita is so nice. Actually, there's a statement Prabhupada said in one purport. He said the Bhagavad Gita is filled with so much inspiration that you can read it thousands of times. The Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. And each time you read it, you'll get new insight in the subject matter. Because whatever Krishna speaks is ever fresh. Ever fresh. So I always read Bhagavad Gita before I go out, and Srimad Bhagavatam. And then when I get back, I read Chaitanya Charitamrita. So generally, every day I read about 2-3 hours a day. So, good. Reading is good. Then we get into the mood of Srila Prabhupada, into the mood of Krishna. To be Krishna conscious and to give Krishna consciousness to others. This is the mood of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.